Alright, so if you haven't been living under a rock, right, you obviously know that Gruns has just exited for $1.2 billion, literally like 1 month ago, and it only took them around 30 months to actually exit, which was kind of the crazy part, and in just 2 years, they actually got an annual recurring revenue of $300 million. It was pretty safe to say that their founder Chad really did make Mark Zuckerberg his bitch, right? And obviously that's a joke, but man, they really did harness advertising to really do this, and being able to get to $300 million in annual recurring revenue in just like 2 years, that's pretty crazy, and that's usually unheard of. And if you're like a sane brand owner, you're probably wondering like, okay, how do they do this and how can I actually apply it to my own strategy? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly that. And by the way, if you don't know me, my name's Gurnoor. I make these videos to make scaling to 8 figures easy for health and wellness e-commerce brands. And this video will definitely help you do that as well. So listen, Chad, who's their founder, he actually understood this very, very well. He understood when Dan Kennedy said, ultimately, the business that can spend the most amount of money to acquire a customer wins, okay? The business that can outspend all of its competitors to pay to actually acquire customers is the one that actually wins. And most brand owners actually have this the other way around. They want to reduce the cost that it actually costs them to actually acquire a customer, right? But Chad actually took this the other way around. He was willing to outspend all of his competitors and do it actually profitably. And I'm going to show you exactly how, right? So you need to be the brand in your market that actually spends the most to get a customer, but how do you actually manage that? Do you go higher AOV? Do you start doing upsells? Do you start downselling people? Do you start doing subscriptions and like create some sort of subscription around your brand? Do you start doing cross sells? How do you actually manage to get the customer to pay you so much more that you can actually pay so much more to acquire them as well, right? Well, look, there's no one size fits all. All you need to understand is that, yes, these are some ways that you could potentially just, I guess, increase the amount a customer pays you, but there's actually a better way to do this. And this is the way that Primal Queen has done this, right? They have, I think, gone to 9 figures revenue in literally 2 to 3 years, right, of launch. They're already in retail. They're kind of blowing up, right? And then their founder also founded another brand that is, I think, close to doing 8 figures in sales already. And they've only been around for like, I think a year or two, right? So it's pretty crazy. And what he recommends as well is that all of these things are just ways to increase the one metric called LTV, which is lifetime value. All we need to do is just map out a customer journey of, okay, a customer comes in and then they purchase this, then they purchase this, then they purchase that. And of course, subscriptions just sort of streamline that entire thing, but we need to actually map out a customer journey that is going to increase the LTV of a customer as well. So basically mapping out the points where they're going to increase their LTV. So the way you actually do that, how do you map out this customer journey, you might be thinking? The way you do that is you set a goal for how much LTV you actually need from a customer in 90 days and in 12 months. So this is what all the big brands do. This is what Gruns did. This is what, I'm sure IM8 is doing. Like all these big brands, they do this, right? The biggest points for LTV is in the first 90 days because that is when you can actually decide, okay, I can maybe even take a loss at the front and maybe make my money back in 90 days and then pay my suppliers, all that stuff. And 12 months as well, because 12 months is what the investors care about. 12 months is usually where you want to have around like a 3-to-1 LTV to CAC ratio. Basically what that means is just what I've said over here in the hint as well, is that in 12 months, you want to have a 3-to-1 LTV to CAC ratio. Basically, what that means is that, let's say if you spend $100 to acquire a customer, you want at the end of the 12 months to have at least made $300 back from that customer. It's really that simple, and that should be your target as well, okay? And you sort of need to reverse engineer this, which is what I'm going to get into next as well. But for the 90 days, this is really up to you. If you are a bootstrapped company, you might want to actually think what you want to do over here and if you want to make like more profits early on or anything. But typically the good thing that a lot of brands can do, and this is how you can scale really fast as well, is that within the first 30 to 60 days, you actually break even. And on the 90th day, you actually are in 20% profit. Okay, basically what that means is, let's say you've got month 1 over here, you've got month 2, and then you got month 3 over here, okay? Let's say these are all split up. You can decide to make maybe even negative $50 on the first month, like you're in a loss, and then you break even on the second month, which is day 60, and then on the third month, you actually are profitable, okay? And we could say this is maybe 20% of your, I guess, entire spending here, right? You're 20% profitable here. This is just an example, and I don't think it's the best example, to be completely honest with you, but 90 days, you can actually decide to be profitable at the end of the 90 days. What I'm really trying to say over here is that you don't have to be profitable on the first order if you can find a way to actually get the customer to purchase again and again. And this is made easy with a good product and subscriptions, so you can probably just do that. But even if you are sort of a, I guess, let's say a clothing brand, right? I've got an example over here actually as well that I'm going to show you later on how you can achieve these margins. But you want to obviously set a goal for how much you can actually, how much you want to aim for LTV when it comes to a customer in 90 days and in 12 months. And then you just have to actually reverse engineer how you can do that. You might set the goal that, you know what, at the end of 12 months, I want to have $300 from a customer. Okay, then you just engineer, okay, how do I actually get them to those 300? Like, what am I going to sell them first? What am I going to sell them second? What am I going to sell them third, fourth, all that stuff. Again, subscriptions do make this easy, which is basically what Primal Queen has done over here to scale. Let me just quickly walk you through their funnel. So the only way you can actually buy their product is if you actually opt in for a subscription. You can get a 3-month subscription, which is kind of a clever way to actually increase the LTV automatically, because if someone opts in for 1 month, right, they might cancel and they've only paid you $63. But if, let me quickly go back, but if someone actually pays for 90 days up front, they've eventually paid you double automatically, and there's no chance of them canceling, I guess, before the 3rd month, right? So you're already profitable here, and this is just a good way to get more money up front. So that is one way you can actually map out a customer journey. Subscriptions just make it very, very easy because it's so predictable. Of course, you need a good product that people are going to keep coming back to, but then this is how you can actually do it with a clothing brand as well. By the way, the founders of these two brands are the exact same, which is the crazy part. So these guys really know what they're doing. This is not your average, I guess, funnel for a shirt, right? You usually never have funnels for clothing anyway. And if you're a clothing brand owner watching this, you're going to be kind of like, wait, what? Like, what are these guys even doing, right? The thing is that these brand owners are actually really focused on direct response, which is why this t-shirt has literally sold so much. Like, they're already doing millions in revenue, and I think they started like a year ago. Okay, so anyway, that's besides the point. The way that they actually decide to increase customer LTV is by having drops every I think 30 days. They do a new drop, so it's not actually showing over here. Let me see if I can find it for you. Okay, cool. So they're actually doing drops every 30 days, and it's just of new stuff. Sometimes it was a women's one, sometimes it was a male's one. But the main point over here is that the way that they're actually engineering the customer LTV is by simply doing drops every single month. And yeah, I mean, they sell out pretty quickly, so I'm assuming they do quite well, right? So anyway, that is the two examples. This video was a little bit rough, I'll be honest. Like, this video was not my best video, but I really do hope that you actually gain some value from this, because once you start to understand this and you can actually start to engineer your LTV in a way that allows you to spend more upfront, even sometimes go unprofitable to acquire a customer, that is when you win, because that is when you can scale even at like a 1 ROAS. I've seen brands literally scale at a 0.6 ROAS as well, which is insane to most, right? People would look at that and be like, oh my God, like they will get like shivers inside their body when they see a 0.6 ROAS and you increase the budget on that. But the big brands are able to do this. They're willing to take a short-term loss for the long-term gain. And if you are looking to exit your business, just remember this one thing: 3-to-1 LTV to CAC ratio. If you can engineer this, if you can actually achieve this, you are going to exit your brand for millions and millions and millions of dollars, and you can come thank me later. All right. Now, listen, that's that. If you are actually struggling to scale your brand yourself and you're like doing 6 figures a month and you're in the health and wellness space, you should probably click the first link in the description. You don't have to click it, right? But it's just a video explaining how we could actually help you if you're actually struggling to scale. If you're not struggling to scale, you don't need to click the link. But obviously, if you are actually struggling to scale, then you can click the link. But listen, that's that for the video. If you did like the video, click the like button. Let me know that you liked the video. If you have any suggestions or any questions or even just any critical feedback, just comment down below. I'm very open to feedback, right? And third thing is, yeah, chances are we're never going to see each other again. So yeah, I mean, if you want to watch any of my future videos, you should probably subscribe. Anyway, I'll chat to you all very soon, all right? Hope this was helpful.